Basically a quality of life feature for the channel. I will be analyzing all the members of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Not every member in existence that's ever been one. Like, for example, I won't be covering Venom in this particular one, but just the main ones that's pretty mainstream. Groot, Starlord, Rocket, Gamora, Starlord, that type of thing. You know, and even Drax, of course, the classics. But you gotta respect it. Just wanted to let that be known. Peter Quill, aka Starlord, is one of those characters that went through the classic retcon in Marvel and basically has two different main continuity versions, his classic days as such, and then he has his modern days, is what you probably see draw a lot of inspiration from the Marvel current movies, stuff like that. He is a human hybrid. Yes, that name on the screen. It's kind of like a race similar to the Shi'ar Empire, and heck, he even had a different design, like in literal actual different design. He was born during an unusual astronomical phenomenon when many of the planets aligned. Quill was raised by his single mother, Meredith. One day, Peter saw spaceship land and his mother was killed by the aliens. When he told the police his mother had been killed by aliens, no one believed him, and he was put in a state orphanage. He ended up running off when he was 15 and eventually became a trainee at NASA. When the alien entity called the Master of the Sun visited the space station that Quill was stationed at and offered the mantle of Starlord to a worthy candidate, Quill volunteered happily, but was rejected in favor of another astronaut. Quill was outraged, stole a scout ship, and on returning to the space station took his colleague's place. Quill was then chosen to become Starlord, with the Master of the Sun first creating an illusion in which he was able to find and kill the aliens that murdered his mother to free him of his past. Equipped with a sentient vessel called Ship, Quill commenced his role as Starlord. Yeah, he had like a sentient spaceship and stuff, cool stuff, right? And you can pause the video right here if you want to read all of this lore about Starlord. So yeah, just to get more understanding, I just said the bare minimum. And here's another occasion of this. You can pause the video and read this if you like. This is kind of like modern-ish stuff. You can see like the changes here and there. Yet again, Master of the Sun. Before gaining superpowers from the Master of the Sun, oh yeah, he does indeed technically get actual superpowers, by the way. But before that, he still was in pretty good physical condition, I would say, because in Marvel, you don't necessarily have to have super strength to be pretty decently physically in shape. You know what I mean? He even fought a couple guards, shoot his way through several guards, a couple one-hit KOs on some of them. So he's pretty skilled regardless. He was the top student of every graduate at NASA to become an astronaut. Classic Starlord has the ability to touch any form of technology and instantly know how to use it to the best of its degree. That's one of the abilities he has. That's one of the reasons why he can just pick up weapons or guns, machine guns, lasers, elemental guns, it doesn't matter, and picks it up and knows how to use it. He was already skilled with a laser before even becoming the official Starlord. These elemental guns come in handy, like being able to use this fire in the elemental gun, blow away a big old ship, blow you away with hurricane winds, give you an idea of hand-to-hand combat against people with armor on, power armor might I add, as Starlord, half robot and half human warriors, million constructs, takes them out, agility, and etc. Speaking of his elemental gun, have you ever wondered why it never runs out of ammo or he never really has to reload? There's actually a reason for that. Of course, he has gear that allows him to fly. The headpiece he's wearing, he even states, I can fly, I don't know how, but I'm flying. In this gun, all I have to do is decide and it shoots. See? Fire. The universal radiant energy whispers his helmet hollowingly. His elemental gun is able to fight all the elements, water, wind, fire, earth, which is pretty crazy. More lore. The weapon is invincible. Starlord, the one weakness in working your will is you. It's kind of like a Green Lantern construct, it seems like. It is limited by your willpower. You can use the fire of the elemental going to melt through a door or even seal it. It talks about this weapon since it's limited by his will. Its power draws from him, which is why he doesn't need ammo. The weapon is limited only by the power of my will. After all this time, that still scares me. Capable of extreme power if it's not controlled properly. This allows his blast power to be just lethal, like using fire blasting through robots, melting through them instantaneously. It can be used as a light source as well. Blasting and destroying crystals with the elemental gun. Legit has superpowers. It even states Starlord can survive in space, fly at translight speeds, and generate a personal force field. He even possesses enhanced healing, superhuman strength, and initiative, understanding of mechanical items, and automatically translate any written or verbal language. He is a skilled marksman, swordsman, and unarmed fighter, and carries an element gun which generates fire, earth, wind, water by teleporting the material from planet Romulus controlled by his will. No one else can fire it. And it states down here, his ship is a sentient living energy in an organic steel form, able to change its size, density, and shape at will. Shares a psychic rapport with her so that each feels the other's pain. This mysterious figure known as the Masters of the Sun, this is how he got all these powers, by the way. He selected him to be the Starlord, Peter Jason Quill. Even he's surprised. He's like, nobody knows my middle name. He says, I am the master of the sun and thus master of the solar system. He said, but you're not God, he says. Do I resemble him? But all men do, Peter. For it is written that God created man in his image. Perhaps I am not what I seem, and you, etc. It is this guy that granted him his suit and his powers. Doesn't even seem to have jet boots on either, just the superpower. Yeah, classic Starlord was drastically different, guys. Prove he can fly at faster than light speeds. To really be able to get anywhere in a good amount of time in space, most spaceships in comics or fiction have to be somewhat light speed. He can fly faster than these ships. Example of why they say he can fly at trans light speed. The Argurian ship he can fly and avoid it, and etc. He uses his super speed to catch people from falling to their death because he's fast enough to do that. He can survive in a vacuum. He even states here, the vacuum can hurt me. Probably like a pun, but they say he can at least attack with the speed of thought. Him and the ship are so connected. He even states here, I share with the ship. Each of us feels the other's hurt. Masters of language. He can instantly learn any language. Master of all things mechanical. He instantly knows how to match stuff. He states here, his fingers move quickly, surely over the alien consoles, one touch telling him all he needs to know about their operation. He places his old defensive satellites, it says here, to protect you from the slavers, I'll scatter a field of defensive satellites throughout the system. And he's highly resistant to psychic attacks, if that makes sense. So about his ship he has a connection with, right? Ship is a former star that gained consciousness when it was forced into going supernova early on in its life. The Master of the Sun, the guy that is responsible for Starlord's powers and abilities anyway, the mysterious guy, gave the ship power to take on the form of a spaceship to accompany Starlord on his voyages and his adventures. The ship is a living being, like I've said a billion times. Ship and Starlord have been in a romantic relationship at times. Ship can take on the shape of a woman at will. The ship can even change to look like Starlord if it wishes. The shapeshifting is so accurate and the transformation is so accurate, the scanners even read this ship as being a human. Like, how crazy is that? But then it changes shape and shows its level of firepower. They are truly a great team. The ship even suggests the safest point of entry for Starlord. The ship can transfer him information or even schematics on how to detonate something without necessarily killing everybody on board. The precision and nature of these two working in synchronization is a beast. The ship is very versatile when it comes to performing a variety of tasks. My widget here has scanned the novel comps. Ship can do bioscans. It's for getting a head start on the villains they're about to take on, to get an idea of what powers the villains or opponent he's about to face has. On one occasion, finding out beings are a telepath. This reminds me of the accessibility in Final Fantasy, being able to scan your enemies and see what powers and abilities they have. Ha! Can even use their psychic abilities to track down the slavers. Can do a scan of psychic images, the ship can, to get an exact coordinate to travel to, so they know where they're going. Travels to this one place and is completely invisible to the tracking system of other places. Invisible to the other planets' tracking technology. Can maneuver past all their defenses. So for the most part, there's a difference between classic Starlord and current Starlord. Classic Starlord's pretty beast, I'm not gonna lie. Kind of wish they stuck with that formula, but the new Starlord's still cool too. Hard to get a good range of his power, but I would say with his guns, he can at least level buildings or full ships with his laser guns or elemental guns, at least at full blast power using the element of air, I would say, maybe. But personally, I want to jump to the newer stuff, shall we? His origin currently is still similar to the old days. Rather than the Master of the Sun, he got his elemental gun from his father, stuff like that, you know what I mean? But let's dive into how strong is current Starlord, shall we? Thanks to the events in the current events of Marvel, he ends up becoming a Guardians of the Galaxy member because the universe needs heroes, right? Got the elemental guns in this occasion, of course, in this continuity still. Shooting air attacks, earth, like encasing somebody in granite. Debatably one of his most destructive elements, like fire, blasting through a ship. Using this fire to blast a group of Chitauri, Guardians of the Galaxy Adventures. Hey, Groot. Does this to Angela. Like, these blasters be making him, like, jump tears. With a lightning blast, kind of making her sleepy. And just having fun with water, because he can do that. He can make it non-lethal, too. Consistently taking out Krees with these guns. Hey, there's Captain Marvel over there with Nova. It will flat out disintegrate somebody else that's not meant to use it. You can create large explosions like that. Look at the blast power. Sometimes it disintegrates people and sometimes it shocks people that are not supposed to use it. Even though he prefers to use his elemental guns, he can use other type of firearms and has some pretty decent accuracy doing so. Has like Kree weapons capable of harming space. Knights weapons are able to blow back blast star beings that have given Thor issues in the past. One can say these weapons make him jump tears because it's a standard gear, nobody else can use them. It's kind of like a part of him. He has armor piercing detonator rounds. He even fought Cancerverse Giant Man. There was even a time when he had cybernetic implants. You know what I mean? These allowed him to see every energy spectrum. Down here, I see energy spectrums, all of them. It also allows him to remember things word for word, implanted mem chip, 100% effective recall. Other equipments he has is a universal translator. His uniform straight on dampens heat signatures. Of course, he has jet boots. Yeehaw. He even has a communicator in his boots. His helmet somehow allows him to survive in space, even though his classic self wouldn't necessarily need that to survive. You know, he could just survive in a vacuum. But, you know, they changed some things about him. Retcons, right? His visor can read enemy signatures. I know his gear seems to be a big part of him, but when it comes to physical, taking out Starhawk with a punch, takes out Gorilla Man with a punch, you know, meta human type characters. Just because he doesn't specialize in super strength doesn't mean he doesn't have it. He's a Marvel. Matches these inhuman people in physical strength, just little small scuffles here and there, even though he got pushed back. Ronan, Silver Surfer tier, moves him with his hits. But yeah, of course, that doesn't really matter. He's not really on Ronan's tier, but just take this with a grain of salt. But like physically, he was able to move him like that. Isn't that cool? I mean, he's fast enough to dodge Phalanx energy blast. Showed a second of this earlier. And he's skilled enough to take out some Kree soldiers, weapons and all combined, just straight punching some of them. A lot of Krees are superhumanly strong, so these kicks actually do mean something. He isn't just a straight normal human to be able to do these things. I mean, even while handcuffed, he was able to evade soldiers while handcuffed, just completely defenseless, agility. I mean, he's got to have skills. He's like a freelance combat advisor for Kree. Him and Rocket, of course, the Guardians working together, take on big threats. They was working on taking down Ultron's Spire. They get a lot of stuff done working as a team. That one time he infiltrated Phalanx to gather information. He designed a Kree orbital security perimeters program to keep threats out, not in. I ought to know I designed it. This guy keeps a Groot clipping as a toothpick, just in case for emergencies. This guy planted it on the Yggdrasil to make a giant Groot to destroy the castle. Kind of what I showed you already. His past, his mama. They wanted his Merida Quill, that's his mama. They wanted the bloodline to end, killed her. Peter goes upstairs in the house. The aliens try to kill him, dodges that. Tries to find a weapon, shoots in his defense with the shot. Then that's when he discovers, he said, Mom had what is this? A weapon, works with his DNA because he has a special heritage, have Spartio and human hybrid. If you want to get an idea of his most accurate origin currently, this is how it looks. Starlord, the official origin of Starlord. Who is he and how he became to be? Meredith Quill met a man who fell from the stars. Their love produced a child named Peter Jason Quill. Then they pretty much show the parts where they changed his origin. It said 12 years ago, Peter met and was trained by the Master of the Sun, crossed out, they're retconning that, the space pirate Yondu and his gang, armed with the elemental gun left to him by the Master of the Sun. Oh, they changed that origin. His father, he found a new life purpose in outer space as a legendary Starlord. The Master of the Sun does not exist. The Master of the Sun has never existed. Retcon, these are false memories which are to be ignored. Yeah, as you can see, like retconning them, you know. There's even more to him that meets the eye. There's implications that he might have some more ability thanks to his harsh battle with the cosmic incarnation of the Olympian gods. He used his element gun, like always, to siphon their power into himself and the Spartaxian weapon, supposedly giving him abilities that haven't really been explored yet. Like notice here how he has visions of his supposedly not really past no more. See how he absorbed it with the gun, absorbed it. They even said this holy fire is ours alone. We are the gods. Evidently absorbed it, it seems. You know, it implied that it was just a dream type of thing. It implies that he has slowed aging 140 years. They even stay here, stole the power from the gods. They said, you locked our power away in that little prison. Your thing of science and magic, your astrological weapon. But every time you use the weapon on this world, you set a little of our power free. You free enough. We have enough. We have returned, Peter Quill. Yeah, this stuff gets pretty freaking cosmic. Peter Quill has had different flying apparatuses over the year, like I showed you already. Ship. He had this type of flying mobile apparatus, headquarters for the Guardians. They called it SIT. Ship with an onboard AI named Bad Boy. After spending a century somewhere else, the element gun is not just a gun, he says. Not just a thing that destroys, it's a prism. An object of focus. I can focus myself through it like the sun. Like a living power plant, kinda. Can use his own energies to power the gun, one could say. It's kind of like that. It's kind of the reason why I said earlier why he doesn't ever run out of ammo, right? It's hard to get a ranking on where Peter ranks, but his blast power could possibly put him up there with the either medium heavyweights or powerhouses if you want to look at it a certain way. Just not too many full-blown battle feats doing this though. But he was able to produce so much light. Stay tier, I'm the Master of the Sun, you know, kind of like the old lore. Was able to blast apart this symbiote dragon during the Knoll event, stuff like that, right? Not to mention that the gods of Olympus have a bone to pick with him. Starlord is one of the hardest people to rank because part of his character revolves around that actual gun because it's really a part of him. Nobody else can use it. As we've seen, I would say we can put him in the medium powerhouse tiers at least. He became the king of Spartax, like his the other half of his human race at one time. One of his best feats of all time is taking out Thor's relative, Angela, who is a Thor tier. Like I showed earlier, this implied that his guns or elemental blast power puts him on a tier way higher. A lot of Peter Quill stuff is unexplored based on all that stuff. Hopefully they explore it more in the future. He's a guardian in space that has to fight space level threats. Characters like Blastar get blasted back. Remember, Blastar in the past have given Thor, Hulk, and characters like that major issues. So that's something that should be thought about. I feel like lowballing the snot out of him, he has to be at least in the planetary range to be able to harm beings like Blastar consistently. Beings like Blastar can overpower the Thing, stuff like that. You got to remember that type of thing. For his blast power to be able to do something like this to Angela, a character that can compete with Thor physically and give him a run for the money, that automatically makes me want to say these blasters can produce potent enough energy to harm or severely wound beings that can endure black holes. Or this should bare minimum put these blasters at star level, right? This is a speculation, but hey, this is a battlefield at the same time. And we all know how powerful Angela is. But that's just about when to do it, everybody. What do you think the limitations of Starlord is? What do you think the new limitations of his powers linked to his blasting or luminance or light he can blast out with his guns can do or produce? How is he able to knock out Angela like this? I want to hear you guys' thought on that. Check out those playlists so you can see more stuff like this. Respect Starlord and his blast power, standard gear, and etc. I kind of like going over the origin just by going over Marvel.com, for example. Drax the Destroyer, let's talk about how strong he is. Look at his power grid, by the way, strength of 5. He has got some changes over the years. In his biography, they stated he was created by the Titan guy known as Kronos to kill Thanos. Yes, he was destined to kill actual Thanos, by the way, for those that didn't know about that in the movies. Drax spent most of his existence either trying to do exactly that, like aka killing Thanos, or dealing with the fact that others killed his target first, which he didn't like. After going through a metamorphosis, Drax helped the universe survive the Annihilation Wave and Ultron's attack on Kree space. Having done good, made some important allies. He joined the likes of Starlord, Gamora, Raccoon, Groot, others in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Became popular in live action. A ragtag group that preserves no matter what the cosmos throws at it thanks to their unique abilities and their strong bonds with one another. You know the funny part is that the cosmic powerhouse known as Drax the Destroyer actually began life on Earth as a simple man named Arthur Douglas. His wife and their daughter Heather happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time while flying over his first earthbound scouting mission. Thanos became worried that the people inside a car saw him and destroyed the vehicle with Arthur's family inside. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Meanwhile, Arthur's soul floated out into space. Yes, his life began on Earth, where Kronos captured it and infused it with the body he created to stop Thanos. Since then, Drax has gone through a variety of changes, but always focuses his intense power on the killing of Thanos. And that's where you know of the classic Drax, where you can fly, shoot energy projection and stuff, but he did go through some changes, which is why people differentiate between the two. Heck, even in the current stuff, he uses guns from time to time. He's got a decent amount of strength feats, but let's get into it. He's godlike, so of course he can shatter skyscrapers with his punching power. Just give you an idea of how hard he can punch. Captain Marvel's with him and stuff. He has a consistent base of destroying like large planetoid type things, meteor type stuff. States here Thanos. He can punch the heck out of characters like Captain Marvel, for example, powerhouse tier of Marvel, proving that he can fight people in a battlefield on his level of their ability and strength in general. Even almost beats him to near unconsciousness in a way of raw power, slings him around. Planet busting in Marvel is no big deal. Drax has indeed planet busted and rips out the core of a star. It even states here, and dives for a small glowing sun. Into his heart he plunges to rip out its fierce flaming core. Yeah, that much power. Classic Drax was a beast. I mean, he did this to She-Hulk's spinal column. The guy even held Silver Surfer's board in place, and you already know how powerful Silver Surfer is. And one of his many battles with Thanos in this occasion, their fight then destroyed the entire planet they was on. Him and Thanos destroyed planets as collateral. I wish more fights between powerhouses would show this type of collateral, but most of the fights that we see are on Earth. They can't have this happen every comic panel, right? How the planet just ruptures. You know, it's just give an example of why you don't see this in more comics, even though there's plenty of characters that have this kind of power on Earth. I don't understand why a planet exploding would weaken him when he's durable enough to rip out a core of a star, but that's none of my business. It's, you know, They were stated during this big events with Thanos that Drax has a very strong soul, that even in the soul world when you're supposed to be normal evidently, more proof that he's in the Silver Surfer tier, the fact that he beat up a character like Firelord, in raw just strength or punching strength in general, striking power. During these Infinity Gauntlet events, they strike Nebula along with the Hulk and etc., showing that he's an equal contributor. It states here they strike as one. Their combined might could easily render asunder a small planet. But you know, this one Nebula had the Infinity Gem, so it didn't really matter. So yeah, that's why they're punching Nebula this hard. Yeah, Drax has had his fair share of power-ups, for example. The time he had the Infinity Gem, Power Gem, for example, Silver Surfer was amped on this occasion. Silver Surfer ends up annihilating a moon after being deflected by Drax the Destroyer. Yep, respect it. Yeah, his already godlike self literally got gifted with the power gem. Like, did he just eat it? I'm done. One could say part of the reason why classic Drax was this strong the classic days was thanks to this power gem. Even had it in this occasion fighting the Hulk. This is kind of impressive for Hulk to fight somebody that got the power gem. But yeah, it's definitely implication that he's on that level. And the writer intent is for him to be in those Hulkish tiers, even though he should technically be above him thanks to the power gem. But for some reason, the power gap doesn't seem that substantial, and they end up talking it out and stuff like that. He went toe-to-toe with this being known as Maxim, thanks to Hey Moon Dragon. In a slugfest of strength, dude has to be pretty high on the tiers for him to be able to slug it out with Drax too. More occasion of him being able to endure people with similar strength as him. I mean, this is awesome. He even won an arm wrestle with this guy. Classic Drax fought a group of Asgardians. I'm not exaggerating, get off of me. It was even stated here, Drax can toss Asgardian warriors around all day and it would do a little good. Seems to be able to do damage to Thor. And by the way, this is without the power gem. And this Asgardian feat was out the power gem as well. With the power gem, he gets in a full-blown slugfest with Thor. It's pretty lengthy. Slug trading blows, able to match each other's speed, reacting to one another, and etc. Very long panel. I wasn't playing when I said that. They continue even more. Tries to hold Mjolnir. That doesn't work. Hammer comes to him again. Slugfest even more. Still going on. To further, you see the writer intent, all these panels of them fighting. So Drax was meant to be on these guys' level. Keep in mind that he does have the power gem. Oh yeah, by the way, they're just in the front of a star that's about to go supernova, and they're not even worried, seems like. Without the power gem, he shows his strength. Pip the Troll cannot break his vice grip, and characters like Maxim can't even break his grip, even though the guy just literally got in a slugfest with him. Without the gem, he's strong enough to catch Gingasvale's punches with his raw power, slugfest, battle feat, to further prove more battles of him being fighting powerhouses. When he does have the power gem, the one of him fighting Gingasvale, he didn't. For example, here he didn't have the power gem. Knocks out the champion with the bonk to the head with the power gem. With the power gem, poor rocks on the ground. I feel bad for you. Just big old craters. Small baby showing off his power. You're probably thinking he's not Hulk tier. He needed the power gem to fight him. Well, evidently power gem in these fights ain't amping him that much, because even without the power gem, he was able to fight on par with the Hulk. Fights evenly with the Hulk, might I add. Showing these not a fleeting comparison, you see the blows literally are landing, you see the shock waves behind it. The show is not necessarily just a scuffle and he's just dodging for his life, it's really just eating the attacks. Thanks to durability and power, punching him back in a slugfest. Nope, I'm not playing, the fight continues even longer against this super strong being, showing that he's in that level. Hey, cool stuff he can do with the Power Stone, ripping over the vault doors. Of course he can do this. You got more lore right here. It's even contained in the records that Drax, they state here, has Hulk level strength. So yeah, even though he does have a power gem in some of these feats, it doesn't really matter because he's still in that tier of Hulk without power gem. For example, getting punched by Gamora, leaved a huge crater in the wall. Might I add, and Gamora was very strong. But he had the power gem here. But like I said, it doesn't really matter. He still belongs in the Hulk tier without or with the power gem. Don't ask me why that is. I know technically he should be above Thor and Hulk tiers with the power gem. They didn't amp him that much in this occasion, I'm assuming. Hey, I'm not perfect. I don't know why they didn't amp him more when he has a power gem. In battle feats with Silver Surfer with the power gem, he slams into asteroids like it's no big deal. He's gotten a scuffle with the Thing with the power gem at one point. By the way, he did fight Warriors Madness Thor. During the fight with Warriors Madness Thor with the power gem, the battle got so intense, Thor actually, in this powered up state, was kind of handling everybody. Maxim, the big strong dude I showed you earlier, as well as Gamora's in this situation as well. They're all fighting. Warriors Madness Thor is kind of putting in that work. Drax even costs up the power gem in the process. That's how intense it got. Of course, missiles ain't nothing for Drax. That shouldn't even be up for debate. He's gotten in scuffles with Blastar, being that be giving Thor some issues. Same with Adam Warlock. Doesn't have a power gem in this occasion, showing he can hang with another powerhouse tier like Adam Warlock. Got in the battlefield with Havoc and Human Torch, enduring blasts from such being. You can literally we see him standing there just chilling. Yeah, heat doesn't seem to really do nothing. He just enters stars, like, you know, with Silver Surfer, stuff like that. And yes, he has mental resistance. He can break free of mental attacks to an insane degree. One of his many battles fighting Thanos. Like, this looks very crazy. He does the same thing by breaking free of Moondragon's mental influence. You can't just mind control him without him fighting back with willpower. When it comes to his speed, he be chilling with cosmic beings like Silver Surfer and stuff, beings that be flying through the universe, so he's massively faster than light. There is definitely implication of it, like the time he literally flew from Earth to Saturn's moon because of speed, flying with the Silver Surfer. I don't even have to get on Silver Surfer's feet. This guy can galaxy hop. I mean, remember that he confronted Champion in space while Drax was originally on Earth during this occasion in space fighting Champion, Silver Surfer, and yet Drax shows up. Speed. I miss his days with energy blasts, shoot energy out of his hands, blasting Silver Surfer through wall, harming Thor. His blasts are hard enough to shake the foundation of the moon. When he demolished this asteroid, it was because of blast power. He can punch and blast if he feels like it, having a beam struggle with Captain Marvel, causing like this huge cosmic inferno type explosion thing. Yeah, showing his energy projection is on crack. There was a time he was even beginning to absorb the spectrum in this particular occasion. He can absorb stuff with his energy projection as well. Remember that spectrum, I got a video about her as well, and she is made of light. He can sense people's presence as well. The reason why there's a difference between being classic and unclassic is because he's been killed and resurrected. Like on this occasion, he got resurrected, but with brain damage. The Destroyer fell brain dead at Moondragon's feet. This is where Drax started acting like an idiot and stuff like this. States here when Kronos reanimated him. Like this example, he got pierced in the head, resurrects as a new Drax. Currently, Drax's power physically seems to be a little bit different, but he still has an insane amount of super strength. I would say he still is the physical power of the Guardians of the Galaxy still, you know what I mean? But he just does different stuff, doesn't really fly or use energy projection, and he uses equipment a lot more, you know what I mean? Like doing silly stuff like playing the saxophone with Power Stone, like what in the actual heck? And one time he used Cancer versus Thor Mjolnir against Thanos. It even states here, I may have this wrong, but I heard that nobody on Earth is worthy to actually pick up Thor's hammer, like it's enchanted or something, but I guess his twisted evil version of Thor and his twisted evil version of his enchanted hammer doesn't count. Got that right. Yeah, but no matter what, he still hates Thanos no matter what, like using the Cosmic Cube to take out Thanos. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm on his gear now. Guardians of the Galaxy, he has standard gear like jet boots. Look at the axe. No, I wasn't playing like a literal big axe. He does this to Thanos with a close range antimatter charge. Guardian of the Galaxy put in work. He uses guns, like on this time using the gun to blast back Thanos. Yeah, get used to the Thanos encounters. Yep, he even has a gun and sword. Freeze, mister. Here's a gun to you. You know, he's dressed up in a tank top, just dressing casual. He has these symbiotic disruptor charges. Look at that big gun he's pointing. Oh yeah, by the way, he uses blades. He uses blades to cut through many monsters at once. Hey, the thing cuts through a hoverboard. In the Annihilation Conquest, he cuts through an Ultron drone. With this axe, he smashes apart a spacecraft, chops through a lot of alien bugs, self-explanatory. He seems to have marksmanship with throwing knives, throws it through an alien bug, cuts up some bugs, slicing and dicing. He's not afraid to stab you through the head if he has to. I mean, even current Drax is still pretty freaking strong. It's just hard to concrete him into any tier. I would say he's at least near the top tier still, maybe medium heavyweight tiers, one could say. For example, he was able to shatter an energy field that contained the Silver Surfer, for example. It was powered by a bit of Galactus energy, so it shows that he's up there to some degree. Hard to really gauge though, because he did this with blunt punches still. Thanks to him being like literal kryptonite for Thanos, there was one time he breaks through Thanos' force field thanks to his special aura he has against him. As you can see right there, Thanos struggling, he rips through it. Then he does that to Thanos. Something a lot of people can't do. A lot of people think, oh my god, this automatically makes him Skyfather tier because Thanos. No. He's literally kryptonite for Thanos. Strong enough to smash these personal aircrafts. Does this to a resurrected Thanos. Does this to Angela, sends her flying, showing that, yeah, he's still not a weakling in comparison. You know what I mean? It is hard to gauge. Is she sleepy? He can still crater the ground with shockwaves. In his fights, when he knocks beings face first, he can still crater the ground in the process. So he still got super strength to a high degree. This collision example right here for Thanos, like blows back everybody else, clashing with the Mad Titan. Plenty of battle feats with Thanos, slugfesting with Thanos. He's meant to fight him. Drax getting weird bodies, like fighting Cancer vs. Iron Man, for example. Does this to a Cancer vs. Giant Man, fighting powerhouses like Angela, sending her flying in this particular particular occasion. Does this to Fing Fang Foom, somebody that be fighting Hulk and he's way bigger. I like these giant fights. Slams into beings like that. Slams into Macaluan, something that's bigger than him, still epic. Even punched through somebody's head, brutality. I know this is alternate reality versions of the characters, but the fact he was able to tear apart a Cancerverse Namor is pretty impressive. Wrestles with giant monsters that are way bigger than him, stuff that you have to respect. Somebody that's concrete in the Thor tier is Angela, and he's able to stop her attacks, then her off of him no matter what, so it kind of shows what tier he belongs in. Tears apart this magic monster, there's the Thing, my boy, that type of power. Gruesomely tore the teeth out of this monster, ouch. Giant beings stepping on him, withstand it, like all that size different, and of course he can jump really high. Bounded, he was able to break free of it, like psh. There's a time he got in a scuffle with a Venom Groot, like Groot that was possessed by Venom. He was okay from this massive spaceship explosion. More proof of his powers that he'd been blasted by Nova multiple times. Was able to keep fighting to some degree, but he did get he did get sleepy. Putting in work, he be taking attacks from behind, reacting back to it. Big energy explosions like this, he is able to withstand. Looks like to be like some multi-city block sized explosion, but he's okay, not dead though. And he seems to be unharmed by a shock baton. Characters like Cosmo can't like just mind lock him in place because he has mental resistance, even like his classic self. I mean, think about it, his mind isn't a nice place to be. He's been through quite a bit, lifting up big stuff. In this occasion with Angela, she did get the advantage over Drax, but Drax wasn't a flea in comparison. He has no shame in blitzing when it comes to speed, blitzing somebody's head off, dodges a thrown sword, and he literally stopped Iceman in his tracks. He was literally in front of him like, boom, just showing his speed. Just a little small. He was able to hit somebody that got the drop on him, like you literally see them behind him, and he was able to be that quick, you know? Oh, by the way, he does actually have skills in fighting, for those that don't know. He used nerve pinches, used his skill to dislocate limbs in different occasions, fighting mobs. Even states here, nerve pinch puts him into agonizing spasm, as you can see here, so it shows his strategic fighting paralysis using kicks and etc. And just straight on bluntly punching folk. It literally states here the lore for Drax back in the classic days. I'm going back in time again right quick, rewarding those that have stayed this long in the video. He is Kronos, father of Eternals of Titan. He is their god. This is the same being that walks of a higher plane of existence, a higher dimensional being, by the way. But Mad Thanos is one of his descendants, and so he has a responsibility he must honor as he has before. It even states here about Drax, the body comes from and is endowed with the strength of the universe. Because of what he must face, he is power personified. Drax the Destroyer. Man, just think about it, man. He was back in the old days, he was just a earther. Now he's a godlike being. Original human form. This is so funny that this used to be Drax. I think it's obvious that Drax in his prime is a Thor tier, Silver Surfer tier level being, Hulkish tier level being, but I do believe he's a little bit weaker currently, but not to a drastic degree that you might think, because he is designed to kill Thanos after all. He got like special aura against him. He's not just strong just because he's got a weakness against Thanos with his aura. He's just literally just strong too in the aspect of just physicals. So that kind of gives you an idea too, but it's kind of letting you know the writer intent of where they want him to be at regardless. Not to mention all those occasions with Thor tiers like Angela, for example. He was giving her some issues, drawing blood from her, stuff like that. He's able to use knives. He has some decent combat speed, even modern times. So now I would still think, even though Marvel has the strength at like lower strength now, like at a 5 now, I still think he has the strength of a star and stuff. To lift the star if he had to, you know, just from the standards of Marvel, you know, star level being nothing in Marvel, things like that. Even until this day, I still do believe he is the muscle of the Guardians of the Galaxy group, regardless of what you might think. It's occasions like this that make it hard to underestimate. But for the most part, everybody, that's just about going to do it. Respect Drax. Did you know he was this strong? You probably did, especially them classic days. But I would say classic is in the black hole at least level, obviously. Like I always lowball the characters, so I don't want to over-exaggerate characters. He's at least in that Thor, Hulkish, Herculean tier. I would say now probably closer to the medium heavyweight tiers, but like it's not that much of a power decrease like people say. He just doesn't have the energy projection and flight and stuff like that. But when it comes to raw strength, he's still not that far behind his classic self, I would say. But he has taken some L's to some of the heavier hitters like Nova and stuff, so it kind of makes you balance the scales on where he at. You know what I mean? He wouldn't have got killed that easy in his classic days against Nova. It's just little small examples of that, so why I'd say he's a little bit weaker. No energy projection. You think I underhyped him, overhyped him? Similar to how Thanos gets improvements over the years, like I'm talking about power-ups, cybernetic power-ups and experiments on him. Gamora is one of those characters that seems to get as stronger as time goes by as well, but it's hard to really rank her when it comes to power, because there is a writer intent for her strength level, and then you have feats of her strength level, and the writer intent for her strength level sometimes doesn't really make sense to what feats are The right intent and feet suddenly back up at times. But today I think I got a pretty decent understanding of where she actually ranks when it comes to attack power, raw speed, combat speed, fighting speed, and whatever she doesn't make up in strength, it makes up in fighting skills and the weapons she uses. Because you all know how weapons are in Marvel. You got weapons like adamantium and vibranium, which ignore durability, like for the point of they don't have the strength to like literally kill these powerhouses with their raw strength alone. It's their metal, aka gear they use, that really helps them move them up a few tiers, or even harm beings they shouldn't even really be able to harm. Like Wolverine can't even lift a tank up with his physical strength, but yet claws enable him to cut characters like Thor, beings that can withstand black holes. Same with characters like Black Panther. He is no weakling by any means. Neither of these characters by. That's what I mean by weapons that ignore durability. You probably know Gamora from the MCU, but let's get right into her. Gamora. Gamora might be debatably the actual best fighter in Marvel, if I'm being honest. She has the actual title of being the best fighter in the entire galaxy. I mean, you got characters like Iron Fist and Daredevil and some of our favorites like Captain America in Marvel, but like if we're being honest, she might actually be the best fighter. She's shown on plenty of occasions to mollywop people that are leagues stronger than her, evidently by writer intent. She has trained and was raised by Thanos himself, a ridiculously powerful being that's probably in the Skyfather range. I even have multiple videos about Thanos too. And Gamora is actually one of those few characters that Thanos does care about. He actually sees her as a daughter. She's had many adventures, but through the years, she's got kinder and lighthearted being hanging with the Guardians of the Galaxy, but she's been cold and has been cold plenty of times. She will not hesitate to kill you. So here's the thing about Gamora. Due to enhancements, training, and etc., he has ridiculous speed in general when it comes to fighting speed, like to the point even characters like evidently like Thanos say she's faster. Wouldn't that make her fighting speed automatically into massively faster than light speeds? Probably like, no way. There's been several implications of her fighting speed. Thanos throws rocks just to test her to see how quick she reacts off guard. By the way, she shattered this with her punching power too, by the way. She has shown to be able to blitz-style combat aliens and quickly dispatch them. Heavy implications of having faster than light fighting speed, be able to deflect lasers with her combat speed. She's actually fought characters like Spectrum, who should be in the powerhouse range as well, and be able to deflect lasers from characters like Spectrum. She's even fought a Thanos clone, dodging attacks from that Thanos clone. She has plenty of occasions as moving like a blur. Like, this is actually getting crazy. Yet another speed blitz. She has shown to deflect laser fire so many different times. It actually gets a little crazy. Another occasion, just dancing around lasers and blitzing. I gotta stop abusing these aliens like this. Like, they literally having a hard time tagging her. Yeah, as you can see, right her. She has enhancements, which gives her enhanced durability, and why she's able to do the things she does. This is during the older days too. Thanos explains her structure of her body, actually doing experiments and enhancing her to help her out. He states you now have a nearly complete new skeletal form, a special lightweight alloy nearly indestructible, plus a total respiratory replacement and a reflex enhancement. It explains why her fighting speed is so insane. It wasn't just naturally this fast. So it's kind of like one of those things, is like a permanent amplification throughout the years. Thanos even explains she's not quite human anyway. Well, she never was technically human anyway when she an alien. I think they was doing that for the readers. As described as one of the best fighters or the deadliest woman in the galaxy, I think it's only fair to go over her skills right fast. Yeah, she has quite a bit of display of skills before I go over her strength and right intent. Even during her early days, as a teenager, she was able to fight like a gang of aliens by herself, like a complete mob of them, just showing her skills already. She's definitely dangerous, no doubt about that. She actually fought an army in under 10 minutes. Like, yeah, she really is the deadliest woman in the galaxy. Yeah, this is freaking sick. Not to mention she knocked over a tank, strength feat as well. Beats up a mob of alien soldiers. Like, look at this. All of these. That many. Yeah. She's good at pretty much all forms of combat, but yeah, she was able to beat this strong being. The sword combat skills. Yeah. This being she beat in a sword fight was known as Vale, by the way. She evidently has celestial / Kree physiology, naturally gifted with flight, super strength, and etc. She's like actually evidently the rightful heir to be the next Captain Marvel. So, ooh. Yeah, you know the Captain Marvel Carol Danvers? No, Genghis Vale? Yeah, When Annihilus, had the quantum bands, she broke through a construct from Annihilus when he had the quantum bands, Vale. She's able to hold back characters like She-Hulk with her raw strength. Yeah, that was her actually in this comic book. So she is kind of concrete in the Captain Marvel range is Colossus ranges, or at least the Thing ranges, or slightly below the Thing ranges, like very slightly. Like she's in that range of power, and Gamora was able to beat this same being in a sword fight. So for Gamora to do this to this being in a sword fight, considering that Gamora is supposedly, quote unquote, not in her strength class. It sure seems like she's in that strength class to me, but that it could just be me. Not to mention, she actually fought Angela, Thor's, sister. Thor, the god of thunder. A concrete black hole level being. You're not mishearing me. She fought Angela. How in the living heck is she not getting stomped? Her combat speed, if anything else, if she doesn't have super strength on their level, she definitely has to have fighting speed and massively fast and light speed to really make up for it. You're going to see what I'm talking about when I say Marvel, where Marvel classifies her in strength, when I talk about her strength in a little bit, to showing you all these feats of her fighting these powerhouses without getting one-shotted, even taking a kick from Angela. She even held her own against all these freaking monsters right here, as you can see right there. Literally, this many she fought. Had World War III with by herself. Yeah, Gamora's no joke. She's even able to destroy a whole bunch of Chitauri while she's tied up. She's definitely one of the most dangerous women in the galaxy for sure. As you can see right there. She is real skilled at finding nerve strikes. She knows a nerve strike that can kill anybody but Thanos, evidently, right? I swear Gamora has to be in the powerhouse range. I don't know how she's able to do stuff like this. How does fighting skill alone give you this much power? You know what I'm saying? Fighting skill alone. There's this being fighting Maxim. She was fighting this being known as Maxim. She kind of straight up embarrassed this dude. She was dancing all around him. As you can see right there. Similar to the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, Nebula and Gamora have a lot of fights, sisterly battles, and she was kind of cleaning her clock right here, fighting against Nebula right there, as you can see. But Thanos had to step in, of course. She could take down a combat drone at 15. Yeah, she really was chilling with Thanos a lot. You can see him in the corner over there. So there was this Cancerverse Valkyrie, an alternate reality version of Valkyrie. I don't know how she scales to the real Valkyrie, but she was able to kill this Valkyrie version of Valkyrie. Keep in mind that Valkyrie has gotten serious slugfest with She-Hulk before, so yeah, no easy feat at all. I don't know if this version of Valkyrie she killed was on this level, but it's just something to think about. Literally fought her way to the finals of some intergalactic tournament, proving yet again why she's one of the most dangerous women in the galaxy. Very skilled. She even killed an Asgardian assassin. Wild poison and extremely weak, and she was destroying the NYPD. Completely trashes Space Guards with her skills and speed. She has consistent feats of killing beings with nerve strikes. She has that level of skill. She's very deadly and scary. This same technique even worked on the Thing. The freaking heck. God dang it, Gamora. That's a concrete powerhouse level being. If I haven't already convinced you of Gamora's power, why don't I add more fuel to the fire? How about the fact that she knows evidently 83% of all fighting in the universe? I don't know about y'all, but she might be the best actual pure fighter in Marvel. I don't know. That might just be me. Fighting characters like Valkyrie, sparring with Thanos standing that she's faster than him, and he's massively fast and light, being able to take blitzes from characters like Silver Surfer. It's literally impossible to blitz Gamora. Fought Thor's sister, lethal nerve strikes that she's done on multiple occasions, like this. And freaking this to the Thing. She's also taking attacks from, Iron Man armors like the Module Prime. So pretty much when it comes to fighting, she knows it. You just put any weapon in her hand and she knows how to use it. That's basically what it was. To make matters worse, she owns this weapon that's a weapon that, you know how Marvel is with weapons. She owns this weapon like the God Slayer, what supposedly ignores durability. God Slayer weapon she has as a part of her standard gear. Magical weapon too. Even though we don't see it as much as we should though. Now, Gamora's strength, this is where it gets confusing and where to rank her, the strength. She has some really decent strength shows when it comes to battle feats. She's able to break chains with her physical strength, is able to kick characters like Captain Marvel and cause her pain and make her bleed, and wait a minute, what? How is this possible? You know what? Are you sure she might be a powerhouse? Literally has drawn blood from Captain Marvel, has kind of slugged it out with Captain Marvel. Kicks the crap out of Cyclops here. Her kicks are able to hurt characters like Nova, another concrete black hole level being. I don't even care if it's Kid Nova. Grown Nova or Young Nova, they're both black hole level beings. He might just be on the lower end, but this is still impressive, being able to hurt beings on this level. Or are you sure you're not She-Hulk in disguise? Wait, she can't be She-Hulk in disguise because she did this to She-Hulk. Oh my goodness. Wait a freaking minute. Did she just knock out She-Hulk? I'm so freaking done now. I am so freaking done. Are you freaking kidding me? Gamora is freaking strong as heck. But they quote unquote say that her strength is in the Spider-Man class. Stated right here. They say she's supposedly in the Spider-Man class. Not based on these feats I'm seeing and her combat speed. I'm just saying. Her writing intent for her being in the Spider-Man class is a little weird considering she's able to kick the Power Stone out of freaking Drax the Destroyer back when he was a powerhouse level being. But that's none of my freaking business. I have a few theories on Gamora. You're probably just as confused as I am. How the living heck is she fighting characters like Angela during nerve strikes and killing people and sparring with Thanos, and Thanos even stating that she's faster than him, but yet she's only in the Spider-Man level strength class? That's confusing, right? Well, I got a couple theories on this. Well, one of my theories could be that the Spider-Man statement of her being in the Spider-Man strength class could have been like a very old statement that doesn't apply to recent comics. Like, in a way, it could have not aged well. But then again, even in those older comics, she's still able to strike hard enough to hurt those beings. Well, my other theory is, to complement that one, is that, okay, maybe she actually does have Spider-Man level strength, but thanks to her ridiculously known, maybe she knows some secret fighting arts that we don't know about to the point where it can ignore durability. I've always been a big believer of skills can't make you be able to ignore durability. But maybe she knows some ancient martial art that nobody's ever heard of in the universe, like the nerve strike we keep seeing, that even though she doesn't have the level of strength, it kind of ignores durability. Or maybe I have another theory, maybe her fighting speed is so much it makes up for the strength she lacks. Like, kind of like a Flash character. Like, the Flash can't really lift a lot, but his light speed punches help him to be able to punch or hurt or knock out characters like Superman. Maybe her fighting speed is on that level to the point where we've already stated that she's faster than Thanos. So, Thanos has ridiculous fighting speed. So maybe that's the reason why she can hit hard. It's one of those three reasons. But what do y'all guys think? Do you think those three reasons are legit? Or do you think she got power-ups over the years that might have been off-panel power-ups that we might not have seen about her strength? Because it's really hard for me to believe that her strength is only in the Spider-Man range after all of this. I can't see Spider-Man doing some of these things, even though Spider-Man has his moments where he staggered heavy hitters, But it seems like Gamora is more consistently portrayed to be like that, though. You know what I mean? Like, literally making Captain Marvel drip out blood out of her mouth, like a concrete powerhouse level or lower end powerhouse level being, you know what I mean? And make it even more concrete of her power and durability. I mean, she's durable enough to survive falls from freaking orbit. Yes, from freaking orbit. She was hurt, but she didn't die. Like, yeah, that's something to think about. Also, it's worth mentioning that she has survived the heat of the sun. Yeah. So, I'm pretty sure you already have a lot of respect for Gamora already, but how about the fact she actually fought Ronan in a serious fight? Yeah, Ronan, a powerhouse level being. A being I would say is least in the Thing ranges of power, and like she's a threat to him. Yeah, she's not a featherweight. This is not just a scuffle. She's literally like making Ronan like work for it. Like, he got like an expression on his face. It's right intently shown to be like a tough thing for him to fight Gamora. Oh, another fun fact about Gamora. She carries a dagger that evidently frightens Thanos in this little biography right here, Nova database little thingy right here. I mean, I've seen characters that are, like, I've seen Spider-Man tuffle with people like Silver Surfer and Hulk and Adam Warlock and stuff before, but, like, it's a little different with Gamora's situation. Like, she got the title of the deadliest woman in the galaxy to further write it intent her level of power and skills and etc. And she's, like, consistently fighting these people, and it's not just a scuffle of her dancing around them. Like, she's fighting them, hurting them, and making them struggle. They even have facial expressions struggling. Even implied to have struggling looks, like they're struggling with her actual strength too. Like they really have like a straight up fight right here. Like, he goes blow for blow. Like, she even takes some attacks from Ronan. Like, yeah, showing her level of durability. Like, fighting Ronan, like, evidently her attacks hurt him too. I don't know what type of ancient fighting skill she knows, but whoa, she evidently like mollywopped him too. Like, you see here, and as you can see here, he looks dizzy. Like, yeah, she consistently has feats on this level. I guess there's a reason why she is Thanos' favorite and spars with Thanos. Like, these two really went at it. I don't know how many powerhouses she has to fight for people to really understand how strong she is. I even changed my opinion about her compared to what I used to think of her a couple years ago. Moral proof of the fight with Ronan here, she consistently shown to be able to strike and harm him. This is not just like a scuffle. It seems like a serious battle, like, on straight up. Not to mention, she has this ridiculously powerful weapon. I've said like a million times in the same vid, God Slayer. Kind of evens the odds too. Whatever strength she does lack, at this point, she has to have some sort of ridiculous strength. Yeah, literally giving Ronan threats. This feat matches up with her Captain Marvel feats, being able to hurt Captain Marvel, and etc. It all makes sense. Just for those that have been living under a rock, Ronan has been shown to be able to fight characters like Captain Marvel, a being that's confirmed to be in the star level. So then there's that. Miss Marvel, that's when her Miss Marvel days here. He's been consistently shown to be able to harm characters, like, and give characters like Gladiator a very hard time, a black hole level being that can withstand black holes with his durability, but yet Ronan can hurt and fight this same being. Gamora is no joke. I mean, Ronan was able to do this to Black Dwarf, one of the powerhouses of the Black Order, so, Ronan's no joke, and Gamora is just like consistently fighting him. I mean, Ronan is the same guy that eats a punch from Colossus with like not really that much discomfort. Same with characters like the Thing, showing his level of power consistently. Ronan's no joke, but yet Gamora still can fight him and give him a run for the money. Not much more I can say, man. I mean, Gamora's just a monster. I mean, she's just a beast. Something that you should take lightly, but one could also consider Gamora a threat due to the fact that you got to consider how strong the characters in the Black Order are, and she's supposedly the deadliest woman in the galaxy, evidently counting these women in the Black Order as well, such as Proxima Midnight. I mean, you have to remember, but characters like Corvus Glaive can hurt characters like Rogue that has Wonder Man's power, a powerhouse level being for sure. I got a Wonder Man video on my page as well, so check that out. No, I wasn't playing when I said these characters can like fight characters like Rogue with Wonder Man's power. Black Order members are no joke. I don't know about you, but if Proxima Midnight was to fight Gamora, I would personally think that Gamora would have the advantage. But like she's able to hit hard enough to create explosion shockwaves with her attack power. And she's able to fight on par with Luke Cage, knock out characters like Luke Cage, and cause earthquakes while fighting Luke Cage. And Gamora has fought beings like stronger than this. So yeah, I could say Proxima is probably below Gamora as well. She kind of matched strength with Unworthy Thor too. Crazy. Took a blast from Captain Marvel. You got characters like Black Swan in the Black Order as well. One was evidently more dangerous than her too, right? Right? The same prison was able to contain characters like Terrax, yet she couldn't really break. She only cracked it. Like, she's literally got in serious fight with Captain Marvel. It took a blast from Captain Marvel. I mean, I guess it is fiction. I guess it's possible for her skills to really bring you up higher than you really should, because maybe she knows some secret technique that can make your attacks ignore durability or something. Or I guess they're trying to say her strength, Spider-Man level strength, plus her skills pushes her to new heights, classify in a different range level, I guess, right? They state all of this stuff put together. They rank her in the Iron Man level of power by the US. This would actually add up better with her feats. So my personal opinion, I'm going to go with her being in the Iron Man rank when it comes to raw power and attack power, right? Maybe at least in his Silver Centurion days, you know what I mean? I think that's fair. Captain Marvel Rangers, I mean, she's pretty consistent when it comes to that. Her fighting speed, being able to be faster than Thanos. All blood from characters like Captain Marvel with her actual punches, killing people with nerve strikes, and like one-shot people with nerve strikes, like the Thing, and even knock out She-Hulk. Like, it makes a lot of sense for them to say she's in the Iron Man level here. So what do you guys think? You think this is accurate? I think so. Of course, there's also another reasonable explanation of her strength and why she seems to be higher than normal levels. Even back then, they put her in the Iron Man level, but they stated her strength was in the Spider-Man levels. But currently, it could possibly be a lot higher than the Spider-Man levels thanks to the Black Vortex little event empowerment. That could have been like a temporary power, which could kind of explain why she's so much stronger than what she seems. So you see, billions of years ago, there was this ancient race named Viscardi, who were gifted an object of immense cosmic power by a celestial. This artifact, known as the Black Vortex, transformed the user, imbuing them with the cosmic energy. However, the power of this object caused the Viscardi to turn on each other, annihilating their own race. Blah, 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 blah. More took things into her own hands and submitted to the power of the Black Vortex. I know this is the temporary amp, but this could be an explanation to her permanent power even after this, Black Vortex junk was gone. But it's really unknown if this is the reason why she's so strong, apparently. Even though it does make a lot of sense. But yeah, this is probably more than likely one of those temporary power things. I've already mentioned the weapons she had over the years, but I thought I should go over them right quick. She even had this sword called the Infinity Blade for a little bit. Of course, she doesn't have this currently, though, but just one of the many weapons she's had over the years. Gamora seems to love blades as well. This is one of her part of her standard gear as well. She reminds me of Blade, how much she likes using weapons and knives. While it is true, and it is hard to find out where she ranks at in strength, I think, my personal opinion, I think she belongs in the Colossus range of physical strength at least. Her skills push her to possibly new heights in the powerhouse level, possibly, when it comes to attack power. Due to her strength level, at least being in the Spider-Man ranges, which I think is bullcrap based on all these feats, but whatever. Her fighting speed should be being massively faster than light speeds, which could push her over the edge, and her skills and her knowledge on nerve techniques. I mean, she is pretty consistent when it comes to fighting people. Being on a nerve strike characters like the Thing, knocked them out. Being on knockout characters like She-Hulk, even hurt beings like Nova, draw blood from characters like Captain Marvel. I usually don't like using drawing blood feats, but when you start dripping blood to the point where it's like spilling out, I think it's pretty deeply in the writer intent. I mean, she can deflect shots back unto her opponents consistently with her fighting speed. Attack with enough raw power to harm beings like Nova. Attack with enough attack power to harm beings like Drax the Destroyer to make him throw up a power gem. And even one-shot knockout characters like She-Hulk, like actually knock her out. The sensational She-Hulk, they're not the new beefed-up She-Hulk, though. Regularly spars with Thanos, not saying she scales to Thanos, but it's just something to be noted. It's just ridiculous that she's evidently faster than Thanos, saying this is actually really ridiculous too. I mean, not to mention she's the most deadliest woman in the galaxy, man. But y'all, that's just about going to do it. So in all, I think she can at least lift 500 plus tons. I think her attack power is to the point where she can fight characters and compete on even ground in fighting with characters like Colossus and the Thing. I mean, it's just too much evidence suggesting otherwise. Getting in fights with Captain Marvel, fighting Thor's sister in like a real tough fight, knocking out characters like She-Hulk. Like, it's just too much evidence suggesting she's consistently stated otherwise. She might know some secret fighting style that we know of, and her fighting speed is another thing that puts her over the edge too. Her skills, she knows ancient martial arts that we probably don't even know about, since she knows 83% of the known fighting skills in the entire universe and can pretty much use any weapon known to man. I mean, that does make some sense to it. She spars with characters like Thanos. Her fighting speed might be the thing that pushes her over the edge to be able to punch or attack with this level of power if she does lack the actual lifting power. I mean, that could be just me overanalyzing it, but I do think she's pretty concrete in the Colossus and the Thing level when it comes to attack power, when it comes to hurting people with this level of durability on a consistent basis. That could just be just me. I know the Marvel Cinematic Universe doesn't really portray her to be this dangerous. She could possibly get powers off screen that we don't know about. Oh, let's not forget that Iron Man, it definitely concretes himself in this level as well. And the military did say that they needed to raise her level from Spider-Man level to Iron Man level, implying that Iron Man is above the Spider-Man level of power by Marvel Comics as well. So this does further concrete it. Whatever doubts I did have, I don't have them anymore now that I thought about that. That was further implication of that due to that scan I showed you earlier about the scan about them saying she's in the Spider-Man threat level, but now she's considered in the Iron Man threat level, which matches up with being in the Captain Marvel ranges of power, and it would make sense on why she's able to hurt characters like Nova and make characters like Captain Marvel drip blood with bleed. You know what I'm saying? That all that stuff adds up to her being in Iron Man level. So I think she does concrete herself in Iron Man level. What do you guys think is the reason why she's so strong? Do you think she got stronger over time? Do you think she got stronger? Do you think it's just her skills? Do you think it's just her skills alone that makes her this threat? Do you think it's her fighting speed and combat speed that helps push her attack power to new heights? I mean, because you can not have that much lifting strength, but your combat speed can help your attack power to the point where it can make you a top tier being. It is possible. Your speed alone without lifting strength can make you on that level. So what do you guys think? You think that's possible? Rocket Raccoon. He's affiliated with the Guardians of the Galaxy. He is a genetically engineered animal created for the purpose of entertaining and protecting the crazy people of Half-World, a planetary asylum. He's had plenty of adventures. He would eventually be imprisoned by the Kree, according to Rocket, under false pretenses. But the thing is about him is that he has tactical skill and proficiency with firearms. That's kind of the main thing he shines at. When he finally did become a Guardian, he was tasked with taking down Ultron and the Phalanx, who were terrorizing the galaxy. He would join Starlord Guardians after Ultron was defeated, blah, 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 helping him protect the galaxy from cosmic threats and going on space adventures, that type of stuff. I can go into more of his history. I might do that later, who knows. Rocket is a raccoon, right? But he's genetically engineered, so he isn't just your normal average raccoon. So he's physically stronger than what you would consider an average raccoon, I would say. And he's pretty nimble, wouldn't you say? Like the time he was still being crushed by debris with no damage. That time he beat up armored guards with his physicals. Like yeah, his little small self is that physically strong. Let that sink in. He takes out metal drones and stuff like that with just straight punching power, skills, speed, agility. He used his staff this one time. He's got skills with a staff, can take out people or goons with the staff. Fast enough to dodge gunfire. This is a common thing Marvel characters do. He has fighting speed. Physically strong enough to beat up this alien that's way bigger than him. It's large, you know, just, you get an idea. Is that Zimnu? But that's none of my business. He took this beating, ate those hits, and caught the attack in the process. Sent them flying, showing that he's not just a skinny old raccoon that can't defend himself. Pretty decently long panel, as you can see, but yeah, he can defend for himself. This is him without his weaponry, even though the weaponry is where he shines at. Tell me how this is possible. He deflects like this little missile with a wrench. Let that sink in. How? Also occasional fighting speed. He also knows how to use swords. Takes out a monster with swords. Oh yeah, by the way, he's a friend of Groot. They're really close friends. Scratched up this alien's face this one time because he has claws. Uses bottles to the face on plenty of occasions, fighting different folk. Fighting with the Guardians and stuff. Very agile. Look how he leaps around the battlefield. He's pretty tough. He got thrown really hard by Nighthawk, but he was okay. I mean, he survived the energy blast from like Ultron Warlock this one time. Yeah, there plenty of occasions fighting Ultron and Warlocks and different adventures, you know. He can sense real good, like he detected water. Notice how he says here, sniff water. No, those pipes carry water. Yeah, he can sense real good. More occasion of him smelling. He has enhanced hearing. He beats up these little clown bots with his straight up fists. Endures his laser in this, scuffle here. He was fine after he got hit with like an explosion, like his carriage got hit with an explosion. Small explosives on many occasions. He has an enhanced sense of smell. Just know it. So basically that scene in Guardians of the Galaxy of him doing this was pretty freaking accurate. Like that. That was accurate to comic lore. I would advise you not to sleep on his raw skills though. Like he's skilled enough to evade fire while he's riding motorcycles. Yeah, he can ride bikes and stuff. So yeah, he's just skilled when it comes to his gear and things and just being able to ride things. He's a skilled pilot too. Like the time he pilots his ship and evades gunfire, stuff like that. And he's an expert at escaping prisons, might I add. Kind of similar to the movies. So hey Ego, prison deck, Rocket, Raccoon showed this already. This was the prison break that had a lot of his feats in it, if that makes sense. Take it, oh yeah, giant monster, sword, or leave it, skills, flies away. They even state that he has a marked degree of expertise in handling of heavy ordnance. He's good at using big weapons, using skates, like literal skates rolling around, and pistols. He puts in work, taking on bad guys like this. His weaponry and tech is where he shines at. His spaceship, for example, supposedly called Raccoon, he has like these rocket skates, more tech, can use the maneuverability in combat, has like a laser pistol he uses like I've shown already. He owns 2 of them like dual wielding, of course, uses this in combat. They can kill a Galadorian space knight with him. And several Phalanx, like I said earlier. Like, he wouldn't be complete without grenades. They can create large explosions like that. This allowed Quasar and Warlock to defeat a monster. Epic. One could say he has gear that allows him to hang with the top tiers because he's physically not like a Silver Surfer or a Hulk tier or Adam Warlock tier, things of that sort. But look, check this out. These Cardinals of Truth can fight on par with Warlock and Drax, right? But yet, his guns can kill these said beings, if that makes sense. So he has weapons that allow him to hold his ground. His cannons have a stun option, just in case he doesn't want to just blow people away. Of course, he has a space helmet, allows him to, because he's in space, right? Got to be prepared for space stuff. And of course, he has a jetpack on top of it, even though he has rocket shoes. Seriously though, these large cannons with tons of blast power takes out monsters with an S, like obliterates them. These same monsters were giving Starlord and Blastar and Crystal some issues, showing that he can hold his ground, blasting them to smithereens. They've gotten in plenty of scuffles with Thanos, even though he was weakened here, but he holds his ground to help cause trouble to Thanos working together as a team, the Guardians of the Galaxy. He has this Rampart Arms facet cannon, cold fusion, the 20 megawatt range, powerful enough to melt your face off. And they're talking to Thanos like this. They said he was allergic in this situation. They say he was weakened, He be having some crazy looking tech. Like, look the way this junk look. Don't that look big? Let this sink in. His jet gliders fire missiles within missiles within missiles. Like what? A missile fires more missiles. Like, let that sink in. Jet glider. Rocket is a beast. He even has a literal mech he can use in combat, but he abandoned it, of course. Not something he always has, but yeah, just give you an idea of the stuff he has at disposal. Vehicles get disposed of with handguns. This little fish-looking ship and helmet dodges gunfire because of combat fighting speed, get knocked out. Straight up fist action. He has flying remotely detonated explosives, transforming motorcycle jetpack thingy. Like, whoa, that's cool. Look at these techs. What is he, Iron Man all of a sudden? You can't have these type of gear and not have some type of electric elemental weaponry, right? Electric gun. He can even hide it in a small form to where, it's really small. You can put it in his jacket. Has like this energy gun, like look at that blast. He has tech like a holographic space map. You need a space-centric character, you gotta have stuff like this. Sonic gun. Robot space sharks with Groot, like literal space sharks. Like look at this, a hammerhead shark in space, like what? He's very intelligent when it comes to ships and stuff like that. He can make ships undetectable, intellectually making them in a blind spot. Make sense? When it comes to engineering, he was able to create his own cloaking device, like literally make it. We're in a cloak, made it myself. To the rest of the Guardians, might I add, he made it from scratch under fire. Like, let that sink in. He even states here they can't hit what they can't hit, so he made this from scratch while under fire. Despite his jokey nature, he's really good with prep. Like, for example, hides a small piece of Groot in his mouth before getting arrested to help in escape, literally planning his prison break. They even state this is quite the action-packed plan. This is not the first time of him coming up with a plan. He does it here, on Nowhere, fighting against the Church of Truth. Literally explains his whole strategy here. Yeah, kabloom, instant loss of faith. Their belief evaporated and the power levels died right away. Sure, the planet was messed up with 9 billion people didn't get sacrificed for nothing, so I saved Moondragon and a planet. See? Strategic, so he be strategizing. Uses his strategy to round up allies so they can play their part and play. Even Starlord got to give credit where credit is due. He even says, you got the best tactical mind I've ever met. He comes up with a plan to destroy Ultron's Spire. He strategically combines Groot and Mantis abilities. It states here, Groot, he's been busy sprouting. Mantis is using her biopathy to turbo boost his cellular growth rate. With Groot growing at such a rapid rate, he filled 1/10 of the structure, the superstructure. With the fact that he's flammable, it states here, his sap to make it ultra flammable, because if you remember, she's a pyrokinetic, in turn turn him into a giant explosive. And when you see all those yellowish bubbles, all of that is Rocket talking about the plan, so he's the one doing all this strategizing. You see the yellow bubbles yet again, they're explaining what his plan was with Groot and Mantis. Respect it. It's been stated that he has ridiculous instincts. Of course, you gotta have good instincts to be able to think of new stuff on the fly and improvisation, right? That one time they used Blastar as bait, filled him with Groot spores, part of the strategy, which allows Mantis to see the entirety of the Spire. All of this is Rocket's strategic thinking. Not to mention he chose Blastar because of the fact he can simulate death, supposedly. Hibernate and simulate death. That one time he utilized subspace rift to take out an enemy, it states here. The subspace rift generates a singularity blowback. We don't want to be in clear space, not this time. And if he wants to slow down the enemies, he can flood the room to slow down the enemies. Ha, strategies. Yeah, he likes guns, big guns, and has a ton of guns. Like, let that sink in. For the most part, that's just about going to do it. Physically, I would say he might be above normal humans when it comes to just physical strength, because he is literally 4 feet tall and weighs 55 pounds. So he's way stronger for his size. But when it comes to just super soldiers like Daredevil and Captain America, I would say they're physically above him. But for the obvious reason, they're also way stronger on what they look, and they're super soldier tiers of the verse. Maybe if Rocket was the same size as them, he might have strength near them. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't say he's that far behind. I do think there's a significant gap between Rocket and super soldier tiers in the aspect of physical. Now, weapons is a whole nother thing. And when it comes to weapons, he can jump tiers. His weapons can harm beings that the Guardians fight. Like even characters like Thanos, his mechs, or even a weakened Thanos, automatically I would say puts his gear in those powerhouse tiers. But because he has to be able to hold his ground with the Guardians, and they fight in space cosmic threats, so he has to have something that allows him, not to mention his tactical genius and stuff helps give him an edge as well, and all the things like that. But what do you guys think? Post your comments down below. Let me know what y'all think. How strong do you think Rocket is? How strong do you think his gear is? What is your favorite piece of gear for Rocket? Here's Rocket's power grid on Marvel.com. Not saying this stuff is Bible, but just something so you can look at. He's literally 4 feet, 55 pounds. They have his strength at a 2, speed at a 2, intelligence is a 3, fighting skills is a 4. So not too flashy. On Marvel.com, this is what they got to say about him. As the weapons and tactical expert of the Guardians of the Galaxy, Rocket risks his hide to defend the cosmos. He even states here, genetic alterations, received several genetic alterations that gave him the ability to speak and walk on his rear legs, as well as capacity for complex thought and understanding. Mastermind is a mastermind computer whiz, thief, and escape artist. His brilliant mind gives him the capacity to break into or find his way out of any given location, making him a vital and cunning member of the Guardians. And he's also a superior marksmanship. He's best known for his duration and mastery of over-the-top firearms and deadly weaponry, often seen wielding guns bigger than he is. Heightened Senses. Despite his genetic alterations, this Guardian of the Galaxy maintains all of his natural abilities of a normal Earth raccoon, including strong sense of smell, hearing, agility, as well as heightened vision. This kind of backs up what I said earlier about Rocket being below super soldier tiers. Captain America's strength is a 3 and Rocket's was a 2. So that's why I said that. It kind of adds up. You know what I mean? It's also cool that he's teamed up with the Hulk before. Don't lie. There's even a time he worked with Tony Stark because Tony Stark can't be contained to only Earth. And of course, they were great buddies when it comes to tech. Like, look at this beautiful looking gun. Respect Rocket Raccoon. I think I'm going to normalize telling the origins of a character based on straight from Marvel.com. It makes it easier and it gives you visual aid. And also you get to see the power grid. They got his strength as a 7. Sheesh. He is literally a sentient alien tree. This sentient alien tree branch out of his comfort zone to help the Guardians of the Galaxy keep the people of the universe safe. His height's 23 or variable because he has changing sizes. Hailing from Branch World's Planet X, Groot is a part of a species called Groot. Duh. So his name is also the title of his classification. Groot was destined to protect the rights of the downtrodden. He campaigned for the undergrowth, the anthropomorphic animals and fungi who helped maintain Planet X's ecosystem by performing manual tasks. Groot's noble campaign drew the rancor of the other Groots, and he ended up leaving his home world. Hey, they even named it on his Marvel.com, Groot Marvel 1-on-1, branch to hand combat. That's hilarious. You know, instead of hand-to-hand combat, they say branch to hand combat, you know. As big, tough tree, Groot can take a beating when he fights. Powers and abilities. And he can regenerate and regrow. Oh, but how strong is he? This is kind of getting into that. But before I get any farther, just had to mention he can regenerate real quick. He's real tight with characters like Rocket, a being I should have a video about as well. He's one of those characters that don't have that many flashy feats, but he's got some cool occasions I'll show you. Groot, His Divine Majesty, King Groot, the 23rd, Monarch of Planet X, Custodian of the Branch World, Ruler of all he shades, Flora Colossus. Evidently, that's like his full name, but I would just say Groot for short. Groot displays the ability to control and absorb all wood into himself to grow. There was a time Groot planned to manipulate an entire forest to form a wall around the town and have the forest fly off into space to Planet X with the town. Bullets can't really harm Groot. Groot's wood is too tough to burn by small fires like those of torches. Groot commands several trees to move. Groot's first appearance entails to astonish. As you can see, like I already said, small torches ain't gonna do it. He absorbs wood to get bigger, as you can see, and bullets don't really do jack. As you can see, like I mentioned earlier, commands the distant trees to move. I will make the forest close in upon you. It will form a living wall around your village, like I just said. Then I will cause the roots of the trees to grow, to spread out beneath your town. They will entwine around with each other, forming a huge, mighty net, and then you will witness the greatest feat that your mortal eyes have ever beheld. For at my command, the trees will rise. They will carry you and your town up from this planet and beyond your solar system and into the vast reaches of space, for I am Groot, overlord of all the timber in the galaxy. He literally said, nah, you going into space. Here you can see the bullets not working, commands more trees to come to him, as you can see. But yet they have him taken down by termites. Are you freaking kidding me? You know what? Silver Age old comics logic for you. He can make clones of himself, in this case with Rocket. They call it dendrokinesis. You can see like the mini hymns, like making miniature hymns, messing up the circuitry. What are these little twig men, he says. Does this again with a whole bunch of clones with these little clowns. That's funny seeing Groot using guns and firearms. Groot literally took over sentient wood carved clones. If it's made of a tree, you might not want to fight him. Groot forever taking out monsters with team-ups with the Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, dope outfit, striking power. He even destroys a straight up slave tank, slings it around, lifts it up, and smashes it, as you can see. Spartak's gunfire, he also takes them out with relative ease, growing limbs in the process, you know, instant regeneration basically. Shi'ar soldiers get taken out with the swipe of his hand, slams Gorgon, and Inhuman. Yeah, that same Gorgon. Groot can survive in the vacuum of space, but he also broke through a starship. That's pretty freaking strong to be able to break through starship. Another mission with Rocket yet again. He got some battle feats. He was able to knock back Gladiator in this occasion. Pretty strong feat. You know, Gladiator has black hole level feats. Feats way past the planet level when it comes to durability. Stomps a Universal Church of Truth Cardinal. Like, look how big he can get when he feels like it. He used his roots to pull a creature through a continuum vortex. Them big old roots. He destroyed some Phalanx drones while holding up a giant ceiling with one hand because he's that strong. This is one time Groot was launched at Thanos. You know, Thanos fighting multiple powerhouses at the same time, like always. You know, that's what Thanos does. He got real big on the spot. Like, he just seemed like he changed on the spot. Like, you see how he looks right here with Hulk, and then he just grows, try to help pummel on Thanos as much as he can in this occasion. But of course, he ain't by himself, though. That's like everybody fighting Thanos. He grows so fast and powerfully, he destroys like a prison keeping Rocket and others trapped. And he just said, get out of here. This is a dope panel to really explain Groot's regeneration and why he's so durable and just how his physiology in general works. Groot is a floral life form. Even if the greater body is destroyed, a sprig offshoot can in time regrow the greater body. Groot withstood falling from freaking orbital heights all the way down to the ground, so that's some decent durability. He withstood a strike from a weakened Thanos, but didn't die from it. Got hit by a blitzing Gladiator. He can create fresh bodies for emergencies. That time when he was burned, his regeneration was so good, in 2 hours he was able to grow from a finger-sized twig. 2 hours later, this is how big he got, and this was like a little bit of the stuff I showed earlier, where they broke out. He reminds me of Martian Manhunter in the aspect that he can grow his limbs or grow his mass to increase his power. In theory, more mass you have, the more harder you should strike. Groot can increase his size at will, which is impressive. I mean, it's very convenient that he can grow multiple arms, showed this earlier. He can grow to the size of a freaking building, with the Guardians, of course. Can extend his roots for many meters, like bigger than a pretty much a big old ship. And look how big he increases the size here. The superstructure, the spire, he filled it all in. This wasn't no small structure, by the way. This is how it looks from far away. It's a very large structure. He was able to fill in all of that. He can even use his roots for saving teammates that were falling, like that. Make them land safely. Grows his body in this occasion, cracks the ceiling. Like, look how massive he is compared to everybody else. Just went right through it. He grew from small size to big in this particular occasion, taking on several Spartak soldiers night. And he's also a lot faster than you would believe. For example, Adam Magnus, an evil version of Adam Warlock, was able to react to bullets and swat them away with ease, right? Reaction time speed, right? Groot was able to move fast enough to grab Adam Magus. Pretty impressive. And you can see that he was on defense, even though he got blasted back, though. You know what I mean? Got his hand shattered in the process, though. Groot has a pretty decent amount of intellect, by the way. He helped create some gear, right? The Chamber of Devices, as you can see here, them working on some sciencey type of stuff. He works with and helps Maximus create a device called relativistic feedback loop. It states here, feedback loop has unmade the creatures you see, uncreated their reality and reimposed ours. They were unmaking Cancerverse creatures and stuff like that. The Cancerverse and alternate reality universe, stuff like that. These creatures you see, they're decaying all because of the device they helped each other make. Relativistic feedback loop thingy. Uncreated their reality, that type of thing. I love when Groot and Rocket working together. They were shooting ships or starships together with their guns, showing that Groot is a shooter. Could take out some clowns together, shooting with firearms. Plenty of occasions fighting Thanos, working together, shooting Thanos with the Guardians, of course. Kind of like a battle feat for the whole team. Let me go back in time to this little spire thing when he grew himself real big. Right? Okay, so check this out. This time he altered himself to make himself ultra flammable. He can make himself unflammable or flammable if he has to, making his sap ultra flammable. Gotta love it. He's pretty good at operating machinery, like sailing this alien-like boat, like on some pirate, discovering the ocean type stuff with Rocket. Like what? He can climb very large mountains. Groot used to actually be able to talk, by the way. I will see these creatures destroyed because I'm royalty. I'm not gonna lie, Groot reminds me of Mr. Fantastic being able to stretch at will. His power can be shown to do beautiful looking things like this, making all of this. Yep, another occasion of regeneration. By the way, as weird as it is, Groot is one of those rare, underrated characters that actually has his own comic series, so check it out. Heck, they literally took out space sharks together. Like, what is this? Like, let that sink in. I mean, just imagine relaxing on the surfboard with Silver Surfer. That's cool. There was this being that was draining Silver Surfer of his power cosmic. Groot actually had quick thinking, got blasted by the same being as well, took the blast, and used his cord to aid using his brain. As you can see, underground, because he's literally roots. I ain't gonna lie though, I would like for Groot to be in my backyard making me a whole bunch of fruits and stuff. More occasion of his regeneration, gets shot up right here. As you can, explosion, fire and everything. But as you can see, the regeneration is a beast. He's back, but he's small. And he had to be a baby all over again. Baby Groot, that's how that's introduced. But he still can use firearms and axes and stuff. Evading getting shot up here by these beings underwater, very small. Using his size or small frame as advantage, messing them up, blow them up. Fight strategically at this size, flying on creatures. And if you want him to grow faster, you could just hit him with concentrated dose of solar energy and micronutrients, like what Rocket did to help his buddy out to become full size and full power all over again. Then y'all instantly become fleas to him, even though a second ago he was having trouble with y'all. Strong now. His durability is probably one of his weaker aspects when it comes to just pure how hard is his body. He seems to be pretty shattered or harmed easily, but it's just the regeneration that makes up for it. But evidently this was like a temporary power-up. He had to dissolve into a smaller form yet again. That was just like I guess amped mode for a second. Battlefield with this being known as Clam, punched him. Some other beings he lifts up, a villain fight, they stay here. Like literally narrative. They're like bunched up in the crowd. Rocket and Groot are a team up that should be respected. I mean, they even partied with the X-Men. You get to get a little small history of Groot. In this particular panel right here, you can see like all the different events and people he's met and the galactic adventures, you know what I mean? You can pause the video right here if you have to. This should be clear enough quality for you to read. Read here as well, And here. More proof of Groot's strength is the fact that he's strong enough to fight and overpower beings like Armadillo. Puts him to the ground like that. But then the cops turn the guns on him, like what? And yet they get in a slugfest, trading blows. Looking sleepy. Armadillo is somebody that can fight evenly with Rhino, the same guy that can shred Scarlet Spider's webbing. I remember he hit the Thing one time, Bulldover's venom this one time, stuff like that. What if I told you that Groot can even heal others? Like, for example, he was able to heal the Gardener of Poisoning. It even states here, trying to heal me of what? I remember now. Loki poisoned me. Yeah, he healed him. I would like to see more of this ability showcased more, but I don't think it's got that many showings of it. Groot is a helpful asset on the battlefield. You cleansed poison from my veins when I should have been healing you. Now, Groot looking epic, as always. Groot was also helping aid in killing this giant abomination tree life being like Scar. Tried to eat the actual real Groot. Does that, blew him up from the inside. Groot is victorious. God dang, Rocket with all this gear, bro. All them guns. Of course, Groot had his fair share of temporary power-ups like the Black Vortex empowerment. He was transformed physically, internally, his cosmic potential exponentially expanded upon his natural capabilities. Unfortunately, it's one of those powers that it doesn't have that many showings, even though you can tell he's definitely visually amped. Like everybody looking more powered up than ever before. It appears that he has energy projection by the way he looks, seems to gain flight and etc., flying alongside others. Powers like this don't last forever, and he usually stays at his normal levels. It's hard to get a rating on Groot, but I would say he has right intent to be in the powerhouse levels tiers, or at least in the low tier powerhouse. I mean, think about it. Think, everyone, think! It's implied that he can harm black hole tiers like Gladiator. I wouldn't have taken this likely if Marvel didn't rank his strength as a 7 on the Marvel.com website, showing further right intent of why that feat with Gladiator should be taken seriously and not just a random sending him flying feat like certain super soldier tiers do to black holes. But no, the writers intend for him to be at a certain level of strength for him to punch him like that. Not to mention, he was evenly matched against a cosmic Ghost Rider in this scuffle. Don't forget, Cosmic Ghost Rider can clash beams with characters like Captain Marvel, who can blast away stars in her base. So just letting you know. But I will admit, though, it's hard to take that feat seriously. But the only reason I'm taking it seriously is because of the writer intent. If it was just that feat by itself, with him matching blows with Cosmic Ghost Rider for that little short amount of time, I'd have been like, oh, that's not even that much screen time of them fighting each other. But at the very least, I would say he's a maybe low powerhouse tier, medium powerhouse tier, maybe Colossus ranges, if that's fair. I wouldn't necessarily say he's equal to Thor or Hulk or something, right? But if he fought him, he wouldn't get one shot at. Let me put it that way, especially with his regeneration on part of it. But like, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say he's equal to Thor or even Gladiator for that matter, especially peak confidence Gladiator, but he can still hold his weight and not get tossed aside like a feather in comparison, if that makes sense. Don't forget, Gladiator is the same guy that did this to binary Captain Marvel, so let that sink in. Gladiator is the same guy that can fly through red giant stars. That's why all that's impressive. But what do you guys think? Post your comments down below. Let me know what you all think. How strong do you think Groot is? What surprised you about Groot the most in this? Bet Groot should not be disrespected. I'll see you guys later, though. Hope you guys enjoyed. All the members of the Guardians of the Galaxy have things that they shine at, but I would say if I was to put them in categories, this is how it would go. Drax is the muscle of the group. I'd say Rocket the Raccoon is the weapons master because he just specializes in amazing guns. Gamora, when it comes to just overall best skills, she's like best fighters in the entire galaxy, which is saying a lot because the planet Earth is in the same galaxy, and that's saying a lot considering how many good fighters there are on Marvel Earth, like Shang-Chi and freaking Iron Fist and Daredevil and stuff. I'd say Groot is the secondary muscle because he's kind of like a support, but he's very strong physically and is a very big asset, and he can grow in size. They can use strategy and tactics together using all their science and up stuff together on Groot to further improve their mission, make it easier for their mission, stuff like that. Groot can even grow real small to sneak in certain places, stuff like that. And when it comes to Starlord, he's like almost all of the above. He has a lot of blast power with his blasters, versatility with aerial maneuverability because he has rocket boots, he can fly around the place. He even owns a sentient ship, which can help further the strategy and tactics along with the team with the sentient ship and different type of ships and etc., different weapons on the ship, all the different things working together to be the Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy has 2 members that are at least on that She-Hulk, Sensational Days, or Captain Marvel ranges of power, so that's saying a lot about their team in general. Of course, not counting her in the binary state, of course, as Captain Marvel, that would be too much, but you get the idea. But maybe Drax in his classic days, you know what I mean? But he's still a powerhouse regardless of his classic days or not.